I am gonna get things ready. I'm running a little bit behind. I'm not fully set up. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Debbie. Hi. I'm just gonna get a couple of things ready. I did not wind any bobbins, and I'm not using black today, so. Hello, Diane. Hi, Deb. Hi, Shay. Okay, so I'm just gonna wind a couple of bobbins. I'm gonna use like a mushroom color from Sunny Sewing. Hi, Kristen. Thank you for joining. So let me just grab that real quick. Hi, Rebel. Okay. So I'm just going to get set up. Take off my black. Hi, Joyce. So I'm just gonna get my bobbin situated. If I can. Hi, Julie. Kristen, good. I can't wait to see it. Make sure you tag me whenever you're finished with it. I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous. So as always, I'm not prepared. So I'm just going to wind my bobbin real quickly. Can't find my tape. Go figure. Hi, Laura. Hi, Connie. Thank you for joining me for my live. I'm a little nervous, but I feel like I'm always nervous before a live. But I just told myself, you know what? This live can't be any worse than what happened with the Betty Bowler bag. I messed up quite a bit. I'm still trying to figure out where my tape is so I can tape this and it doesn't come undone. Oh. Found it. Thank you, Deb. Okay. So pretty much what I do is I just get like regular tape and I just tape my thread in so it doesn't unwind. And then I'm just going to put it back where my other thread goes. Yes? Good night, babe. Love you. Sorry, my little ones are getting ready for bed. Hi, Penny. Hi, Belle. Okay, so I'm just going to wind my bobbin. Make sure I remove the one that I have in here. I'm super excited to sew this up. I'm not gonna lie, even though I'm a little nervous, because the fabric that I chose is, I might end up having to keep it for myself. Hold on, I'm gonna unlock the door because my kids want to come say goodnight. Come on, bud. Hi, Deb. I have four boys. This one wants me to open snacks for him, my little one. All right. Good night, bud. Give me kisses. Love you. Good night. Love you. They can't see you. Go. He was like posing for the camera and I'm like, they can't see you. That's my middle child, my second one. He's a nut. Has a personality of his own. Okay. So I am using a mushroom color from Sunny Sewing. This is Tech 70 thread. Cindy, am I gonna take my shoes off to sew? Probably not. Well, it depends. I'll probably start, now that I think about it, yes I will. But like normally I start off with my shoes and then I'm like, oh, I'm wearing my shoes, so I'll take them off. Shay, you better not. I do not need any more kids. I think 5 is plenty. I have my hands full with them. Goodness. But I'm not gonna lie, oh my gosh, your baby pictures, seriously, I have baby fever like crazy. Hi Suzanne, hi Brenda. I'm Brenda, I'm just starting. I moved the time back to 7 from 5 today. So I'm just getting started. I'm winding my bobbins right now, just letting everybody come in. Aw, Deb. Just all boys for me. No, Susan, I only have 4 boys. Hi, Marie. But yes, 4 boys and busy. I have a lot of people, though, still trying to convince me to have a 5th. Hi, Suzanne. I am going to be sewing up the Annette bag. Shay, don't jinx me. That's exactly why me and my husband don't want to push our luck, because I have twin boys on my side of the family. So I would definitely end up with twins. My mom had twins. Uh-oh. I got something plastic in my bobbin. 4 little kids and 1 big kid. Yep, exactly. My husband had surgery last week. He had a vasectomy and he ended up getting a hematoma, so now he's really being a crybaby. I hope he doesn't hear me. I will say, boy, I love, I guess I don't really know, a girl's love because I don't have any girls, but the way boys love their mamas is so, I love it. It's definitely different, but my 7-year-old is going through it right now. Oh, he has a mouth on him. So I'm just sewing up, doing my bobbins right now. So I'm going to do, let's see. I'm going, he definitely has been, it's been interesting this past couple weeks. So my cousin, she had 7 boys, and they all have they all have girls. The boys end up having girls and stuff, my cousins, and she absolutely loves it. So she keeps convincing my cousin, or my mom's cousin, she keeps convincing me to try to have more, because she said it's a totally different kind of love. Yes, Deborah, they do. Oh, they're so sweet to me. I can never do any wrong. If me and my husband are bickering at each other, they come and stand up for me, even though I'm in the wrong. He's always right. My husband is always right, but don't tell him that. I won't ever let him know that. Yes, my cousin has 7 boys. Not me, I only have 4. They're all grown. They're all my age though. And older, like a couple years older. But 7 of them. Uh-oh. Deborah, you know what? So it's kind of funny because my husband, on his side of the family, so his dad has all boys. And so there's only 1 girl per generation. So like all my father-in-law's brothers all have boys, except for 1 has a girl. So there's like 1 girl per generation. And so my brother-in-law has a girl from our generation. So like my niece is a girl, obviously. So my niece, and I see like she's 13. Oh no, maybe she's 11, 10 or 11. And the attitude, me and my husband are like, okay, maybe we don't. We'll just live vicariously through my niece. So I'm gonna do 1 more. Sorry guys, I'm trying to... And I told myself today, like, okay, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to have everything. I'm going to have my bobbins done. And here I am. Okay. So I think 3 is enough. Just going to set this up here. Put those to the side. And let's get to sewing. Yes.
I want some chicken. And they said no.
Okay, can you go ask your dad? Okay. So, I'm just going to, I feel like this is this, looks weird. Okay, it's not, it's done right. So I'm just going to thread my machine and then we can get to sewing. Hi. Is it Tracia? I'm sorry. I probably butchered that. Please, if I pronounce your name wrong, please correct me. Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, so, whoa. Sorry about that, everyone. I had my phone plugged in and oh, I'm sorry. It's not the best view. Okay, I think I have, my phone will tell me when it's about to die. My outlet is sitting on my windowsill and it pulled everything down. Okay. So, I have everything ready. Sorry, some of these feels like weird about my... Oh, Trisha. That actually probably would be... I hope it's Trisha. And I didn't really butcher it. Tricia? Is it I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name horribly. Okay. Tracia? So everyone who's here, I feel like we have this conversation in another one of my lives. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. honestly, I really enjoy doing these lives. Like, I feel like I'm sewing and talking to some friends. Hi, Sally. Good night. I know, I'm starting later than normal. Let me close my door and lock it because they're going to keep coming in. Okay, because I remember having this conversation. I was like, wait a second. I'm going to get it eventually. Okay, so we're doing the Annette Swoon bag. I have everything all right here, including my strap handle. The only thing I don't have is my hardware, so go figure. So this is the Annette Swoon. I am doing the satchel or the handbag. Yeah, I'm doing the handbag size. Hi, Cheryl. So let's get started. I'm just gonna set this aside. I'm gonna grab my hardware. I'm gonna go all silver. Yeah, I'm gonna go all silver because honestly, I'm running low on hardware, so I'm gonna have to figure this out. Cause like I'm just missing like with my silver, I don't have any rectangle rings, and so that makes it difficult. And then with my antique or like my antique brass that I have, I don't have like the zipper isn't the right color, so I'm gonna figure it out. Let's see. So I'm just gonna see what hardware I need. So we're gonna need 2 1-inch swivel clips, 2 3/4 of an inch D-rings, 4 1-inch rectangle rings. I might have to adjust this a little bit. Okay, 2 1-inch, 2. So that's 3/4 of an inch D-rings. They're so tiny. The D-rings are really small. 4 1-inch rectangle rings. I don't even think my swivels will go in there. Okay, I'm just gonna end up doing gunmetal for mine instead of silver, and I'm gonna I know you're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna have to mix colors together. So I'm gonna have silver and brass, or not brass, but gunmetal. I could use a metal zipper, but I really don't like sewing with the metal zipper. Okay, I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do. Sorry, everyone. I have this problem, and I told myself, I was not thinking that today was a holiday, so I was thinking I'd be able to run out and grab some like matching hardware, and that did not happen. So I think it'll be fine. So I'm gonna do a metal, like the silver zipper, and then I'll do gunmetal hardware everywhere else, and I'm just gonna pretend I did it on purpose. Actually, I wonder if brown will go with what I'm... Yes, Lisa. I broke a couple of needles while sewing metal zippers also. I mean, it will match if I mean, I know the only thing that will be off is the, let me see. Do you think that would look okay together, brown? I'm not a brown person. But I also don't think, I'm just gonna go with what I'm just gonna go with the, I'm just gonna go with it. I mean, I guess I could do, okay, no, I'm gonna do silver. Sorry, everyone. Okay, let's see. Never mind, because I don't have, okay, this is just it. Ooh, what is anti-glue zippers? Okay, let's get started. This is what my hardware is gonna be, and we'll just hope it looks good. So the first thing we're going to do is, as you know, I like to do my straps first. So let's do the straps. Let me grab it. Yes, this is the Annette Swoon bag that we're doing right now. So this is the handle, these are the handles, and this is the long strap, the shoulder strap. So ooh. Okay. So let's get started. Oh, you know what? And I did forget to, I just realized I forgot to cut out my bottom stabilizer. So let me go ahead and cut out my bottom stabilizer. And I'm doing a sew in, so then I'll sew it in. Let's see what, there should be a, one of these days I'm gonna be fully prepared, so we just sit down and sew. $11.5 by 4.5 inches. Okay. Oh, so is it like it's a non-stick needle pretty much? Okay. So I have my bottom piece. As you know, I like to do a decorative stitch around it. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. So let's start with the strap. So I'm just gonna go to the strap section, and this is gonna be a little different because I normally use vinyl, but instead I'm gonna be using my iron. Hi Wendy, I'm making the Annette. This is for the Annette sew along. So I'm just gonna let my iron heat up. I feel like you don't have to do the shoulder straps for the handbag one. Thank you, Wendy. I will say I just learned how today to upload the lives that I do within this within the like Swoon group. I was able to upload them to my YouTube channel. So once this is all once I finish this live, I can transfer it to my YouTube so it's easier to find. I'm hoping that eventually I can get quick enough to where I can do the lives under 4 hours so that I don't keep getting kicked off. Okay, no, you do make it if you're, it says skip to 4 if making the commuter tote, which we are not, we're making the handbag. So, I'm just going to trim up. I have a little bit of interfacing peeking out from here. So while my iron is heating up, I'm just gonna cut it to even it up, even my strap up, so it's easier to fold. Because we're gonna fold it in half and then sew it. And I believe it's gonna be like a 3/4 of an inch strap, or maybe a 1/2 inch strap. So I'm just going to trim this up. Just from where it got a little bit uneven when I was cutting. I don't, when I cut on my interfacing, I don't cut it as precisely as I do my actual pattern pieces because I can trim it. I mean, it is extra work, but then it's also nice. I do that also because then I know I get full coverage on my strap and everything will be stabilized. And for those watching, I am going to be going live again this Thursday with our admin, our other admin, Shanova. And if you don't know Shanova, you should definitely search her in the group. She makes amazing bags, and she's really good at modifying bags too. So I'm trying to convince her to also go live with me and do the sew-alongs. We're talking about maybe doing where I'll go live in the beginning, and then for the more advanced bag makers who may want to modify the bag that we're doing for that month, she can show you how to modify it. So it can be beginner modifications also. So maybe changing the strap connectors, or how to do a hidden strap connector, or completely add a whole new I guess say a flap or a recessed zipper or something like that. So she's really good at modifying bag patterns. So my iron is heated up, and now I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'm going to, Belle, yes, I'm so excited. It definitely was last minute, but I finally convinced her to go live with me. So I'm just folding this in half. It's pretty much the same thing that you do with the vinyl. The only thing is, instead of folding the vinyl in half, you put a line, and then we're going to fold the raw edges into the middle and fold. And so we're going to use pretty much the same technique that I used for the vinyl for the handle. So normally I would do this on my big ironing board, but I'm me and I'm not prepared for going live ever, even though I know I'm going live. I still feel not prepared, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna make my way, making sure it's even and not burning my fingers. So I'm just using like a really cheap iron I got from Walmart, and it has steam. Oh, Kristen, I was just talking about it. It's a Black Decker even steam iron I got at Walmart. Like, it was like maybe $30, $25. It wasn't that expensive. I had a cheaper one. Like, I had like the really cheap, like $7 one from Walmart, but the steam didn't work so well. And steam is your friend when it comes to ironing fabrics. But I like it. It has an automatic timer, so it turns off, which, I mean, it's good, but sometimes it's nice to have your iron on so you can like quickly sew and you have to wait for it to heat up. But if you're like me, I tend to always forget to turn my iron off. Yes, Deb, I love the steam on this. Okay, so now we're just going to put one side to the middle. Hold on, I'm gonna get my mini ironing board because this is not working. Here we go. Now I can do this a little bit. Well, probably not, because it's like super awkward now. So I'm just going to get, so I'm getting my fabric and I'm just lining it up right to that crease that we made with the first fold that we did. Making sure I get a little bit of steam on that so that it sits nicely. I love this ironing board because I can just set it on my table and I don't have to pull out my big ironing board. But unfortunately, I have since outgrown my sewing room, so my ironing board sits out in my hallway of my house. So that is why I like this one, because I can easily put it away. So I'm just gonna continue making sure this is nice and even, taking my time. Hi, Brenda. Just giving it some nice steam and moving on. Making sure it's nice and even. Rebel. It's so big, and for some reason, like, it doesn't, well, it was sitting on my, like, I had, like, a little, door hanger for it, but I moved my door hanger for, well, because I have my door hanger for this one, but I moved my, I put my other one away because I decided to change my zipper storage, and so I now have like a, what is like that shoe rack kind of, or like a shoe holder that goes on the door, and that's what I place my zippers in. I feel like I burn my fingers when I'm like, not with the actual iron, but maybe like, I always burn it like doing this here or with the steam. But my steam is, it's not like normally when I feel like when I go to like iron, my glasses fog up. But these are not fogging up, which is nice. Because then I always have to take my glasses off in order to sew. So right now I am doing the other side. I'm just meeting them up to the middle. With this one, you don't have to worry so much about leaving that 1/8 of an inch gap like we do with the vinyl, because it's not thick, so that when we fold, it'll still sit nicely regardless of it sitting close or butting up to each other. So now I'm just going to fold it to the middle, giving it a nice good steam. And it kind of wants to fold on its own because of the art, like we already did that crease, so it kind of wants to fold. I'm just like making sure it wants to sit nicely now. So now, oh, threw it on the floor. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this in here about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to press it and then fold it back to the middle, hiding the raw edge at the top. Giving it a little bit of steam. And I'm gonna clip it. Kathy, this is a canvas, like an outdoor canvas, like duck. I believe it's duck canvas room. It's the home decor fabric, so it's not quilting cotton. It's a little bit thicker. So I'm doing the same thing on this side, about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more, like maybe a 1/2 inch. I'm just going to press it. Making sure you don't burn your fingers like I did. And now I'm just going to clip it. I'm going to grab a couple clips just to kind of keep it together so that when I'm sewing, it's a little bit quicker to sew. There we go. Perfect. So there is my strap. I'm just going to move my iron out of the way, move my board. Oh, Kathy, what bag did you make? Cheryl, yes, Wonder Clips are amazing. So I'm going to get my hardware, and I just kind of want to double check because it calls for 3/4 of an inch D-ring, but I can tell you right now that's not going to fit. Well, I guess I'm not putting it on there. So it's going to be on the strap. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my should be fine. Oh, clutch. What interfacing did you use? So now I'm just gonna, let's see. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Do my handle, and I'm just going to sew this at 1/8 of an inch on each side, starting where the fold is. That's just my personal preference on where to start. I feel like it lays better. So, just gonna throw this over my shoulder. Christian, yes, interfacing is it's difficult as a beginner, but I can tell you one thing. I know that Shanova is really, like, she knows a lot about interfacing, so if you have any interfacing questions, you should definitely ask her. Okay, so top stitch, I'm top stitching at a 4. That's just what I like for my top stitch. I just like the look of it. I am stitching at 1/8 of an inch from the fold. And of course, I'm gonna make sure that I back stitch. And I'm just gonna go all the way down. So I'm just sewing at 1/8 of an inch. All the way down. Making sure it's nice and even, because with just, yes, Lisa, she, Lauren Mormino does have a really good interfacing video also. Hi Tiffany, I'm using a Juki DDL 5550. So for the strap, you want to make sure that it's nice and even, or as even as you can get it. Because unlike the vinyl, you can't cut this to make the ends even. Because then you'll have raw edges, and you don't want raw edges. Move this out of the way. Okay, so I'm going 1/8 of an inch down from the, so I go 1/8 of an inch down, then I'm going to turn and then come all the way back down, making pretty much like a big rectangle. Oh, that's always the worst, Kathy. All right. Just looking for my snips so I can snip this off. Okay, back stitching, and now I have my strap done. So there is strap or my shoulder strap. And I'm just gonna set, well, yeah, I'm gonna set this aside. So now I'm gonna get my strap connectors. And with my strap connectors, I'm going to mark a line. So I'm just gonna get my ruler. And I'm gonna mark it at, I'm gonna do a center mark at 3/4 of an inch from the raw edge. Yes, Lisa, you know what? I have those days too. Everybody has them. Those are the days I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna gather my thoughts. I'll come back to it tomorrow or the next, or like a couple days from now. Kathy, it could be my internet. So this is my 3/4 of an inch center mark. Now I'm just gonna get my double-sided tape, and from the edge, I'm going to put some tape. I'm doing the same thing to both sides because we're going to get it and put it to the middle. So now I'm just buttoning it up, and with this one, since we're not folding it, I like to put the ends as close together as possible. No, my strap connectors are the size I believe that they're supposed to be. Let's see. Unless I cut them wrong, which is... No, yeah, my strap connectors are cut at 1.5 inches by 5 inches. Yeah, so sorry, so that is the handle connectors. This is the strap connectors. So I'm doing like a little like crossbody kind of like, I guess a crossbody strap to it that will be on my net. I was going to do I did plan on maybe doing my handles differently, but I really like the look of the curved little accent panel, so I just stuck with it. I am just using regular score tape. This is like crafting tape. So I'm going to peel off my tape for my other side, and I'm going to do the same exact thing, going right up to that middle line, making sure it's nice and even. And like I said, since I'm not folding this in half, I like to butt it up right to the edge of the other raw edge of my vinyl. And so I'll show you once I'm done. So I just like, I don't know if you can see there's no gap. It's right next to each other because we're just gonna fold it like this. But it seems really, really long. I wonder if I was only supposed to cut. Oh yeah, okay. See, I cut 2. You're only supposed to cut 1. Because then you're gonna cut this in half and then you're gonna fold that in half. Kristen, it's double-sided score tape. Carrie, no, it's just that I don't have a moderator to help me answer questions, so I put it in selfie mode so that I can see myself sewing and I can see the comments. So it's a regular right hand sewing machine. Yes? Ask your dad. Okay. So now we have our 2 strap connectors, and they are 3/4 of an inch wide and 2.5 inches long. Or no, they're not 2.5 inches long because we are going to, so you're gonna fold in half like this, and you're gonna cut in half. No, it's okay, Tammy. I didn't even ask for you to hop on, so no worries. So there we go. So now they are I must have cut mine at 6 inches because they are 3 inches even. So no biggie. They're just longer. Okay. So I am going to get this. I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch so that they're 2.5 inches. Actually, I'm just going to keep them 3 inches. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to grab some clips, find my D-rings. They're in here. I'm going to So there we go. So my D-ring is attached. Now I'm going to get my other D-ring and I'm going to attach it to the other strap connector, and then I'm going to set these aside because I'll attach these when I get to my middle section or my side pocket. So we're done. Actually, I did that wrong. So you're going to you're gonna butt them up together like this. So I hope you can see raw edge to raw edge. And then you just kind of want to make sure that they are even. Mine's going to be a little bit longer because I do have mine at 3 inches. Okay. So now I got my 2 D-rings connected. I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to do my handles. And I just like to make sure that I'm doing my handles correctly. Okay. Okay, so we're going, I just want to make sure that I'm doing my handles the right way. Most handles are done the same exact way if they're cut at 4 inches, but I'd rather be safe than sorry when I'm measuring out. So we're going to get the middle mark, which is 2 inches because it's 4 inches. And I just threw my vinyl. Just through my pencil. Yes. Thank you, Tammy. Okay. So we're marking 2 inches from the raw edge of the handles. I do my handles and my straps first because they're the easiest thing to get out of the way. Plus, I have a full bobbin, so I don't have to worry about it running out while sewing. So now I'm just going to get my double-sided tape, put it down the middle, and do the same thing I did with my strap, or my shoulder strap. The only difference is I'm going to make sure I leave 1/8 of an inch gap, or 1/16 of an inch gap, so that when I fold, I get a nice fold on my vinyl. And I will show you what I mean. So. Just gonna go pressing this all the way down. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap from that line. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, making sure it's as even as, or as close as possible to get it as even. There we go. Hi, Mackenzie. Don't worry, you didn't miss much. You know, I wasn't prepared in the beginning, so 30 minutes of the live is me winding bobbins and remembering that I forgot to cut stabilizer or other things out. And also, I did not have my hardware picked out, so I picked that out real quickly. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue going down all the way, leaving about 1/8 of an inch. And so that's my little 1/8 of an inch there. Uh-oh, starting to come off. And I'm just gonna really press that down and then fold, getting my clips and clipping to hold my vinyl in place. Pretty much, Mackenzie. You missed nothing. I'm just starting the bag. I'm working on my straps. Normally, the first thing I like to work on is my straps. So if you come 30 minutes into a live or an hour into the live and you see me doing straps, you know you didn't miss much. All right, Brenda. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're able to get back on. I'm hoping that I can do a live under 4 hours. I'm just trying to peel off this vinyl. There we go. So I'm doing the same thing I did with my other vinyl strap. I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch, probably like 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to say 1/16 of an inch from that center mark that I made. And just going all the way down until it is completely folded. There we go. Now I'm going to repeat that to my other side so that I have about a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. This is probably 1/8 of an inch gap here. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Hi Velvet, I am making the Annette bag. This is the handbag, or the handbag size, the satchel size, right? Or a handbag. Yes. So what hardware did you need help with? Sorry, this was cut a little wonky. I just want to make sure that it's so right now I'm folding my leather, or not my leather, my vinyl, clipping it in place so that it's nice and even. Now I'm going to sew this at an 1/8 of an inch on the folded side. I have my stitch length at 4. Gonna make my way down. Taking it slow when I need to, so I can have a nice straight stitch. Sorry, I'm making sure I didn't miss any comments. Sometimes, I know I was looking at a pattern and it was like long john anchors, and I was like, what in the world? But it's actually a pretty cool, like a handle strap. But I also, some of the hardware is new to me too, because I just do the basic when it comes to hardware. So I'm going back down an 1/8 of an inch. This side's a little bit easier because it's folded, or it's already been top stitched on the other side, so it's a little bit easier to stitch. So I'm just gonna cut this so that it doesn't get caught underneath my machine and cause like a nesting. Back stitching, or back stitch, and done. And I got my thread zapper working, but of course, oh, I found it. Rebel, no, I do not use a top stitching foot. I just use a regular, I use a regular Teflon foot. For some reason, I guess it's not working. I put new batteries in. So a thread zapper. So it's this little neat little tool here, and it has this, like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a little wire, and it gets really hot, and you can kind of melt your threads. It helps from fraying. But for some reason, mine is not working. Yes, Kathy, I love mine. But I don't know I don't know if my batteries are dead or what. But it was working earlier. I'm sure my little one got a hold of it. I don't know what is going on. Yes, it's super helpful. I love it. I'm guessing one of my little ones got a hold of this and was playing with it and probably broke it. And I knew somebody came in here because all my stuff was like out, not where it was supposed to be. There we go. So see how it gets red? Here we go. Okay, and so that is my strap. I'm gonna do the other strap, doing the same exact thing. I am going to stitch at a stitch length of 4 at 1/8 of an inch from the folded edge. Just making sure it's nice and even. And then we can get to actually sewing the bag. I'm gonna go back down. I'm telling you, the thread zapper is a game changer. I did not know what I was missing until I got it. Okay. Kathy, no, I sew my bag at about a 2.5, 3, depending on if I'm doing a full vinyl bag, I'll stitch at a 3. If I'm doing like a cloth or like a cotton or canvas, I'll do it like at a 2.5 to like 2 3/4 of an inch, or of I guess is what my stitch length is at. So it really just depends on what I'm sewing, but I only use a 4 for top stitching. But it's really personal preference. Yes, I got mine off of Hobby Lobby, or I got mine at Hobby Lobby, but my Hobby Lobby only carries 1. So they only carry 1 at a time. What do you mean not your threads? I always backstitch, but if you're like knotting your threads so you don't see the backstitch, you would still knot your threads, and then you would use your thread zapper so that it doesn't fray. Okay, so I got my 2 straps done, my handles. I'm just going to, I was going to clip them together, but I'm going to put them over here with my other strap. And now we can move on to the bag. So, I'm going to get all of my foam pieces, and I'm going to baste my foam. I'm going to baste all my either stabilizers or my foam. So, let's see. Foam here. Foam here. And foam here. There we go. So I personally do not like to adhere my foam to my, like, any of my fabric, because it can warp the bag. So like it can leave wrinkles, or if you fuse it to the bag and then you try to turn it through like whatever opening, if it didn't adhere correctly, you could get like some bubbling. Yes. Thank you, Lisa Ann. Don't want to forget my, that's actually for a different bag. Don't want to forget my nameplate, because that would be sad. So I'm going to grab my nameplate now so it's out and I remember. Oh, no. Dropped all my washers. So, where is my scissors? So right now, I'm just kind of trimming up any excess like interfacing that may be poking out. So you can see like this right here is my woven fuse. So I'm just trimming it down because I don't know. I feel it makes it easier when I do my seam allowance, or like when I go to stitch or baste it. It's not necessary. Yeah, so like in my supply list, I did use like affiliate links, but of course I only put stuff that I've used myself, and also I put stuff that like I didn't put like the most expensive thing. Of course like I personally like good deals, so I made sure that whatever I linked was the cheapest out there. If I missed it, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I can change it. I feel like I'm gonna check my pattern, because I feel like this is supposed to have Okay. Okay, that's just my phone. Perfect. Yes, Lisa, there is a spare fuse in the thread zapper. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm super excited about this. Okay, so now we're gonna baste it, and so what I'm gonna do is, the pattern says to baste it, or to put it, it should be like, I guess, 1/2 inch down from the top. So let me check. Okay, yes, so it's gonna be like this. So the top is gonna be a little bit open. I think that's to help with the zipper. And so I'm going to use my basting spray to tack this down so it's easier for me to baste it on. Just lining it up with my bottom and my side, making it as even as possible. Uh-oh. There we go. So now I have it basted. It's a little, there we go. There we go. Now I have it nice and basted, and I'm going to do the same thing to all my other foam pieces, and then I'm going to baste them onto my fabric. Just making sure it's as even, because you want to match up the edges, the side edges, and the bottom edges. Because you're going to baste this at 1/4 inch. Okay. I'm going to do my side pockets now. Basting it onto my vinyl pieces here. Lining it up at the bottom and at the sides. And do the same thing to the other one. Okay. So now I'm going to baste this at 1/4 inch all the way around my edges. And I'm gonna keep my stitch length at a 4. I mean, I guess I'm gonna put it back to a 3 so that I don't forget when I move on, because I will. repeat to my other side pocket, 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I'm just going to trim off any extra overhang of my foam. Hi Dan, I like to use Tech 70 thread from Sunny Sewing. I just love the quality, and I love the color variation that you can get with them. So now that we have our pieces basted at 1/4 of an inch, I basted my foam. I'm going to move on to my main panel piece, and I'm just going to clip them together. I just like to have my pattern, or I just like to keep my pieces or my pattern pieces together because I'll lose them or I'll forget. Hi Andrea. So I'm going to do the same thing to my main panel piece, basting it 1/4 of an inch. On the side and end edges. So basting versus sewing is you're basting within the seam allowance. So this seam or this like stitch here is not, it's not going to be seen. So pretty much it's just putting 2 fabric pieces together to make one. So it's easier to sew together. I'm gonna close my window. Hi Sue. Thank you. So once again, I'm basting my main panel piece foam to my main panel at 1/4 of an inch or 1/4 inch. And I'm doing this on the side and the bottom edges. No, don't be scared to base. With vinyl, as long as it's within the seam allowance, it actually helps because with vinyl, as we know, you cannot really pin vinyl. There's no foam at the top. And it will be stabilized. It will be stabilized because it's connected on this side. Yes, so my seam allowance is going to be half an inch because she's telling us to base at 1/4 of an inch. So machine base the foam in place along the matched bottom and side edges only at 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to assume that it's 1/2 inch. Hi, I'm using let me double check. 116 needle. Oh, Sue, I love sewing with vinyl because I don't have to interface it. So less cutting for me. So for this here, she says to glue it. You can glue base it if you would like. I'm not too worried about it because I feel like it won't move once I put my zipper on. Yes, Tammy, agree. Hi, Gail. Now we're going to be doing our strap connectors. Actually, we're not going to be doing our strap connectors. I am going to be, actually, yes, no. I'm going to put my, what is this? My nameplate. I'm going to put it on after I put my handles so that I know where I can place my, so I can know where I'm going to place my, what is this called here? My nameplate. So that's going to be after my handles, which is the next step. But first I'm going to do my, my bottom stabilizer, which I know I had my Peltex and now I don't know where it's at. Oh, found it. Hi, Christy. I get my nameplate from Alibaba. If you go to the file section in the group, I have a supply list and there's a link for the exact shop and the exact nameplates that I used for my nameplates. So I'm going to do my stabilizer. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my foam. I'm going to get this basing spray. If you don't, I like to do like a nice little decorative stitch along my bottom panel. If you don't like that, you can do like a fusible Peltex. You can fuse Peltex on, or you can use Decovil Heavy. So I'm just going to put my Peltex, just kind of center it. I'm going to do this the right way. And I'm going to draw out my seam allowance. My seam allowance is a 1/2 inch. And so I'm going to run a stitch about 1/4 of an inch from here. And I'm going to change my stitch length to a 4 because it's going to be seen on the other side. It's kind of like a top stitch. So Okay. I'm just going to cut off this so that it doesn't get nested underneath here. So the file section is if you go to like the main thread of the group, at the very top it says like announcements, photos, discussion, I believe. If you scroll, there'll be like a tab that says filed. Okay. So I'm just, Kathleen, yes, I will move this file or this video to my channel. That way it's a little bit easier to find. So this is what I meant about my like decorative stitch that I like to put on my bags. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. Tammy, I figured out how to do it. It just takes a really long time. So, at first I couldn't. For some reason I couldn't figure it out. But today I figured it out. I know it's new because I was telling everybody I couldn't. So I'm putting this back together so that I can keep it all together. And now we can move on to our handles. So grab your main piece and we're gonna grab our vinyl handles, which is this right here. Let's see. I'm just gonna put this away. We're gonna fold the top wings here inwards to the wrong side, but I'm going to put double-sided tape on the edges here. So, it depends on what exactly you're doing. But it is, I know that there are a lot of people that do sew vinyl on a domestic machine. You just have to have a walking foot, a very sharp needle, and a stitch length, a longer stitch length. It's very possible. Okay, so I am just getting this and we are folding in the tabs so that it's nice and even. You see? I'm folding in these tabs here. And that is what we're going to use to fold down. Oh, perfect. Yes, a walking foot is a game changer for domestic machines. Before I got my industrial, I did sew a bag. I would sew with vinyl, but I did a lot of makeup pouches. Okay, so I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm getting my flaps and I'm folding them in. I'm just evening them, like making sure that the sides are even, you see, so that it looks nice. So it's like nice and even here. You don't even notice that there were flaps sticking out. Okay, I'm doing the same exact thing to the other side, adding my double-sided tape. Okay. Going to remove my tape, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did to the other side, just evening it up so that it's a nice Sorry, I'm just a perfectionist, so I'm just looking at it and making sure that it looks nice. So those are done. So now we're going to get our rectangle ring, our rectangle. So I'm gonna grab, whoops, I'm gonna grab two more. Actually, I have them right here. Thank you, Teresa. That means a lot to me. So I have my 4 1-inch rectangle rings. And what we're gonna do is we're going to slide the ring in and fold the top in under 3/4 of an inch to the wrong side. If you're doing the commuter bag, you're going to fold it 1 inch, and pretty much 3/4 of an inch is right to where that raw edge is on the where you folded it. And I'm going to clip it in place and repeat to the other side. I like to measure out just because. So here you go. I wish my room wasn't so dark. Let me adjust this light. Okay, hopefully that's better. So I have my, maybe it's not. Okay, so I have my 1-inch rings. I'm gonna set that aside, do the same exact thing to my other side. Gonna add my rectangle ring in and fold it 3/4 of an inch under, getting my clips and clipping. Do the other side. Folding 3/4 of an inch and then clipping. And then I'm just gonna get it, set it on top to make sure it's semi-even and it's about even. Okay. So now we're gonna sew the handle connectors onto our bag, and I'm gonna use double-sided tape to put my bags on. I'm gonna grab it again. Okay. So let me get my grab my ruler. We're gonna mark our horizontal line on the right side of an exterior main panel that is 1.5 inches down from the top straight edge. And then we're just gonna measure 1 inch from the side edge, and that's where we're gonna place our connectors. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of evening, I cannot say even up my side. So I'm gonna go 1.5 inches from the top, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, done. Move this over slightly. And I'm actually going to get some double-sided tape and add double-sided tape right here so that I can remove my clips. Gonna make sure that I'm still at 3/4 of an inch. I am. You should get back into bag making. I always find that if I'm in a sewing funk, because I was in a sewing funk not that long ago, and I found watching other people really makes me like, oh, I wanna do that. So you definitely should get back into bag making. I'm here to motivate. So I'm just getting my double-sided tape and I'm folding it down so that when I put my tape on, it's easier. I have been there. We've all been in some kind of funk. Okay, so I'm just going to double check 3/4 of an inch. Perfect. Double-sided tape. See, it holds it perfectly. And that gives me enough time to, just gonna baste this here. And I'm getting like this scrap sheet of paper and I'm covering my metal hardware so that I don't get basting spray on it. I'm gonna set that so it can dry, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing to my other, making sure I don't get any basting spray on where it can be seen. Okay, so I'm already 1.5 inches down, and then we're gonna go 1 inch from the edge, and that is where we're going to place our handle. So now we're gonna do the same exact thing here. It needs to be moved a little bit. Let me. 1 inch, done. One inch here. There we go. So I'm gonna add a little bit of basting tape to kind of hold that in. It's a little too wiggly for me. I think my basting spray is starting to go out. Hi, Norma. I think my basting spray, I need to get more. I think I'm about to be out because it's not sticking very well. Normally it does. So I'm just gonna add some double-sided tape right in the middle and realign this. Okay, here we go. 1.5 inches from the top, 1 inch down. So there we go, 1 inch. Now I'm gonna go 1 inch from the side here and place that where. There we go. I'm just gonna double check, 1.5 inches. Move this up a little bit. Okay. So I have my first strap on, and now to do my next strap handle. Bye, Debbie. Thank you for stopping by. Teresa, it's definitely possible. I will tell you, I started out sewing children's clothing, and now I do bags. And I don't sew children's clothing anymore. Okay. Gonna do the same exact thing. 1.5 inches from the top here. Measuring 1 inch from that edge, from the edge here. Okay. Making sure everything is all lined up. There we go. There we go. Gonna hold this in place while I attach this one. And then I'm going to attach that one. There we go. So 1 inch from the top. One inch from the top. Perfect. Just double checking to make sure that's nice. Yes, I do use cotton. This is kind of a cotton. It's like a canvas. But I do do cotton, depending on what the project is. I use a lot of cotton and like clutches and like little like the little key pouches that you can put on your like key rings and stuff. So I'm just making sure this lines up evenly, and it does. And so now I'm going to stitch this with a stitch length of 4, and I'm going to get as close as I can to my rectangle ring, and I'm going to stitch. Hold it in place. I'm going to stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. And I don't know, where did my vinyl scrap piece go? I'm going to use this scrap piece of vinyl so that I don't scratch up my hardware. If I can, I'm going to turn it. So right now I'm just going 1/8 of an inch around my strap connector. Hi Stella, thank you. It means so much to me. I'm glad that people are enjoying it. So I'm just carefully going around this curve, hand stitching if I need to. Making sure I stay 1/8 of an inch from the side. Uh-oh. So I'm right here at my rectangle ring, and I'm going to make sure I backstitch at the beginning, and then I'm going to backstitch at the end, and then continue stitching. This will just help it to reinforce it. Sorry. I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna put my vinyl scrap so that I don't tear up my straps or where my hardware is sitting. I don't want to scratch it up. Okay. And then I'm going to continue going all the way around. Oh my goodness, Teresa. I'm hoping not to take so long on this bag like I do my other ones. So I'm just going 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to I'm just gonna grab put my needle down before I attempt to move this. Of course, I lost my snips. Oh, they're actually where they're supposed to be. Okay, and now I'm gonna continue until I get to where I started on my straps. And I'm gonna use my thread zapper to melt my edges. And there is, hope you can see, my strap connector or my little handle. I'm gonna do the same exact thing to the other side. Starting as close as I can to my strap connector, leaving just a tad bit of room so that it's not too close where I can't move. So I'm gonna go back, making sure I back stitch. I'm gonna back stitch here to reinforce it. And then I'm gonna grab my extra vinyl or my scrap vinyl here, and I'm going to shove it underneath here before I turn it. Just makes it easier. I'm going to turn as best as I can. It's a little tight, which is why I'm using that scrap vinyl, because if I don't, when I go to start sewing, my foot could chew up my my vinyl where my rectangle ring or the vinyl is folded at the rectangle ring. So I'm just going to continue on around this curve at 1/8 of an inch, hand stitch or hand turning my wheel if I need to, until I get to the big, like, kind of straight of it. I'm getting close. I'm going to hand stitch right there, get as close as I can to that ring, making sure I back stitch. I'm going to shove this underneath and then turn my vinyl or my piece, making sure None of my metal is showing. Okay. It's a tight fit, so you're gonna have to really work it. Okay. 1/8 of an inch around this curve here. If you need to go slowly around the curve, that's okay. Just keep it as even as possible. Back stitching. And there we go. Hi, Debbie. Thank you. So I'm just zapping my threads, and now I have my second handle. Okay, sorry, my internet lagged a little bit. Okay, we have like 2 hours before I get kicked off. So, absolutely love these handles. Look how cute they are. They came out awesome. All right, I'm gonna set this aside. We already did the strap connectors, so we're going to pull them out because now we're gonna attach them to the side panels. Oh wait, actually, no, because I'm gonna forget. I already almost did. So I'm just gonna decide which one is the prettiest side. This one is, and that's where I'm going to attach my nameplate. So, we'll put it right here. I'm just opening it up. And I'm just cutting off the back part. I'm keeping my plastic on so I don't scratch up my plate while sewing. If I get thrown out, like if I end up hitting the 4-hour mark, I just will start another live. Yeah, so I start another live. A pop-up should come up notifying you, and you'll just join that one. Okay. So I'm just going to mark my center here. Making a little snip so that I know. And I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to put it about 2 inches down from my middle, which is right here. So I'm just using my craft knife to make a hole. I'm going to pop my I'm going to get a little bit of Peltex to add on to the backing so that It's nice and stabilized. Just going to poke some holes. Done with that. Okay, and so now I have my nameplate on, and I can set this aside because we're gonna be working on the strap connectors now. Get your side panel pieces. And I need to get my strap connectors, which are right here. Just want to make sure that these are still even. Oh, dropped my connector. Perfect. Even. Okay. Just gonna get some of my double-sided tape if I can remember where I put it. Here we go. Hi, Robbie. I love my Juki. Absolutely a big game changer. And I got mine pre-owned. So I only paid about $400 for mine from a local lady in my area. So I just added some double-sided tape to hold my raw edges in so that I can add them to my sides. So I'm just making sure that they're even or about even, and they are. I recommend if you want to get a Juki or like an industrial machine at a good price to always keep an eye out for your local Facebook market. I know someone in the group, they got brand new Jukis. I believe they're 8700, which is the same Juki as mine. It's just the mine is a Japanese version versus hers is a China-made one. And so she got hers for $350, which is amazing. Uh-oh. Having trouble with my bobbin. Okay, I have my strap connectors. I'm just going to add some double-sided tape to the outside so that I can place it down on my vinyl instead of having to pin it, and you can't really clip it because it's so far away, and you don't want to pin on vinyl because it will leave holes. So you're going to want to place it 2.5 inches, or wait, 1.25 inches from the top, or from this, like, this V section. You're going to measure down 1 1/4 inch. So I'm just gonna get my little tool or my, so 1 1/4 inch. I'm just gonna place that right in the middle. Repeat to the other side. Oh, that's awesome, Norma. Yes. So mine's a little bit of an older version sewing machine, but mine came with a clutch motor, and I did have to upgrade it to a servo motor, which was no big deal. It was easy to do. Oh, awesome, Christy. I'm glad I could help. Yes, I absolutely love the folders because then I can just grab and I'm not losing papers and stuff, and it's perfect. Okay. So I'm just gonna measure this again, making sure that I'm at 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Perfect. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of set them and eyeball them. Let's see if they look the same, and they do. So now I can sew my strap connectors on, and I still have my stitch length at a 4 1/2. So I'm going to get as close as I can to my D-ring. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with my handles. I'm going to back stitch a couple stitches, go before I pivot. I'm going to back stitch again, and then I'll turn to go down the other side. I just want to make sure that this is nice and secure. And I'm thinking I might put rivets on it. But I'll see how it looks. So I'm gonna go a couple stitches, back stitch. I'm getting close to where I want to stop, and I'm gonna back stitch again. Just a couple stitches. Now I'm gonna get my, if I could find where I put my scrap piece of vinyl. There it is. Get my scrap piece of vinyl, and I'm going to twist my I'm gonna turn this. There we go. Making sure that I'm gonna grab a seam ripper, and I'm just being very careful. I just want to adjust my D-ring. That's not done. I don't know where my chopstick went. Let me see if I can find my chopstick. When I turned it, my D-ring kind of shifted, and I just want to push it out so that it's not wonky looking. And here. So I just want to straighten it out. There we go. Going to get my pattern or my scrap, and I'm going to go back down at 1/4 inch, or not 1/4 inch, sorry, 1/8 inch. Angela, yes, it is always on the floor. Yes, Norma, I think I'm going to end up doing rivets. Just for added security. So I'm turning And I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the top to the bottom because I just want that added security to it. So a couple stitches back, couple stitches back. Gonna go one more stitch. There we go. Just going to thread zap that away. Don't know where I put my notes. I'm gonna check on the floor. That's where they always are. They're not there. Yeah, so I love adding the front picture to it. Yes, Deb, I agree. It does feel more secure. Sorry guys, I'm looking for my, oh, that's weird. They were hung there. I don't know. Somehow they got over there. Okay, so doing the same thing, I'm coming back up at 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to carefully there we go. And now I'm gonna back stitch back. There we go. I'm gonna thread zap the end right there, perfect. And there we have, and I think I'm gonna add a rivet right in here just for some added security. Gonna do the same exact thing to the other side. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to that edge. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna go back stitch a little bit. I'm going to place my strap in here, or my scrap vinyl in here, so that I don't mess up my D-ring. There we go. And now I'm going to straighten out my D-ring because it turned a little bit. There we go. Wrap piece in. And then we can continue sewing all the way down. There we go. I'm going to go a couple of stitches and then I'm going to back stitch. Do the same exact thing. Go a couple of stitches and back stitch. And then come right back up. Okay. Going to thread zap my threads so that they don't fray. And now I have my second connector. Hi Norma, yes, I do have a website. If you go to my main profile, like if you click my my profile picture, I have all my links there, and it will take you to my website. So we got these. I'm going to pull out some rivets. Oh, my rivets are over here. I don't think I have medium posts, which is what I need. I feel like this is going to be too long. So I might have to skip the rivet. Boo. That's okay. Plus, I don't want to hammer right now because it's kind of late. I don't have a rivet press, so I have to do it the manual way. I have to hammer it down. So if you want to, you can add rivets. I'm not going to. Okay, so now that that's done, we're gonna add the side pockets. So with the side pockets, you're gonna get your side pockets. They're somewhere. These are your side pockets. Let's see where I'm at. I don't know. Okay, not too bad on time. So So we're going to get our side pockets. We're going to put them right sides together. Get some clips. You're going to clip it right sides together, and then you're going to stitch it at a, let's see. You're going to stitch it at 1/4 of an inch on the edge. Then you're going to flip and top stitch it. So you're going to flip wrong sides together, press the pocket well. If you're using vinyl, you're not going to want to press it with heat because you'll mess up. You can probably do it on the other side, but I don't. I will just use some clips. And you're going to top stitch the top at 1/4 of an inch. So right sides together. I'm just clipping. Matching up my raw edges. I'm going to change my stitch length to a 3. And I'm going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch like it says, the pattern says. Okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing to the other side pocket. And then I will top stitch and change my stitch length. Making sure I'm not missing any comments. grab a couple of clips. And this is where you're going to, I like to use clips. If you're using cotton, like on both sides, you can definitely press this. Since I am using waterproof canvas and vinyl, I'm not going to chance it. So I'm just flipping it, rolling it with my fingers. Good night, Tammy. Thank you for helping me answer questions. Okay. I'm going to do the same exact thing to my other side. And then I'm going to top stitch that at a 1/4 inch. Just rolling the seam with my fingers. Making it even. Uh-oh. One more clip. I'm just going through to even it back up. There we go. Oh yeah, you're right. I could use my chopstick. So I'm making sure that my stitch length is at a 4. And I'm going to top stitch this at a 1/4 inch. Taking that curve slowly. Perfect. So there we go. I have my first side pocket top stitched. And now I'm going to move on to the second side pocket. Doing the same exact thing. Stitch length of 4, 1/4 inch top stitch. Just taking this curve slowly. Adjusting if I need to. Thank you, Norma. Gail, yes. I use waterproof canvas because I don't have to interface it. And it's also nice and thick. And I just like the feel it gives to bags. Okay. So I have my 2 side pockets top stitched. And so now it wants you to baste it. You're supposed to top stitch it and go all the way around. I did not read the full pattern. No biggie. I will just top stitch at a 1/4 inch. pocket is stitched. I'm going to do the same exact thing to my other side. 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Just basting these two pieces together. Okay. I'm going to trim up this piece here. If I can find my scissors. I'm just going to cut off this little excess. Do the same thing to this side. Now we're attaching Now we're going to attach this to this. So we're going to attach our side pocket to our side panel. Or, yeah, our side pocket to our side panel. So we're going to pin the side pocket lining side down, so like this, onto the right side of the contrasting panel, matching raw edges. So it's going to be wider, and then we're going to just machine baste it at 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier on me is I'm going to clip the middle here, just like 1/8 of an inch, not very big. That way it's easier for me to attach my pocket. So I'm gonna match those snips together, grab my clips, and then I'm going to clip it on the side a little bit. And then I'm just gonna grab one side and I'm gonna make my way down the sides, matching my raw edges. So the pocket panel is gonna be bigger, but that's okay because that makes that pocket. Because once you put it, it's gonna bubble up, making that pocket. Gonna clip it all the way up, matching the ends together, or the raw edges. I'm gonna set this aside and do the same exact thing to my other panel piece, and then I'm going to stitch it. So this is what your pocket will look like. So don't worry if it's too big, because that gives you that little pocket here. Just going to set this aside and do the same exact thing that I did to that side pocket to this one. So I'm going to fold and get my middle seam. I'm gonna 1/8 of an inch snip, do the same exact thing to my pocket piece, just making sure it's even. And perfect. Grab some clips, matching my snips, adding a couple clips on the bottom, and then continuing on one side. Whoop. Just matching that raw edge all the way until I get to the top of the pocket panel. So all the way till I get to that top pocket, and then I'm gonna move to the other side making sure everything is nice and even. Ow, there was a needle in my clip thing and I poked myself with it. Good night, Wendy. Thank you for stopping by and watching at least a little bit of it. It definitely will be replayed within the group, and I will be putting it in my YouTube on my YouTube channel also, so you'll be able to see it there. Okay, so now we're gonna baste it at 1/4 of an inch. You're just gonna follow that pre-existing stitch that we already basted on the side panel. I like to back stitch, that's just me. I'm just following that 1/4 of an inch that we already basted on the bottom pocket. Okay. So there we go. Basted it. So now you have your pocket. Set that aside with your main panel and you're going to repeat that to the other side. Cheryl, yes, I'm telling you, my Juki was a game changer and it made me a lot more confident in my sewing. And I will say I don't have a walking foot and I really don't feel like I'm missing anything. Like I don't feel like I can't do anything that a walking foot could do. I mean, I obviously can't do like really thick leathers, but I can do vinyl. So eventually, I would like to eventually get a walking foot, but I want to get a cylinder foot just so it makes like drop-in linings and like top stitching like bags, like the round circle, easier for me. But that's way down the line. I can do just about anything with this machine. So I am just going 1/4 of an inch, basting it. I'm just following that pre-existing stitch that I already have here, the one that we based the lining pocket and the main pocket. So I'm just following that. Quarter of an inch. If you go over it, no biggie. You won't see it because it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So, there's pocket number 2. Whoops, threw that in the trash. Yes. The Juki does top stitch a lot better. I remember top stitching on my domestic machine and it was hit or miss with it. Okay, so now we're gonna do the zippered pocket. Let's see. So you're gonna get one of your lining main panel. You're gonna grab your pocket pieces, which are somewhere around here. Pocket piece. So I'm going to fold this to get my center. There we go. Now I'm gonna fold this piece here. Like this maybe. Place wrong sides together. Don't think I... And you're gonna place that 2.5 inches from the top. Kathy, I have a Juki DDL 5550. It is not a walking foot Juki, but I have a Teflon foot on, and it helps sew through the vinyl easier. Ooh, Roxanne, I'm so excited for you. You're gonna love it. I will say it is a bit of a learning curve. And I know when I first bought my Juki, there was a time where I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? But honestly, once I got the tension right and everything, I was able to sew. Like, I just kind of had to work out the kinks because the lady who sewed on it, she mostly sewed clothing. So once I got it all figured out, it's been a game changer. Oh, good night, Teresa. You can always rewatch the live in the group later on. Okay. I almost got that that one, Cindy. But then I saw this one that popped up on my Facebook marketplace for a little bit cheaper. So I was like, ooh, I'll just get that because I was going to spend quite a bit on the Juki Q1. I think it's a TQ1. I don't remember. Okay. So now 2.5 inches from the top here. And that's where I'm going to place my pocket. Whoops, that moved. 1, 2.5 inch. Okay. It's moving. 2.5 inches. I got this. 2.5 inches. Maybe I don't got this. Sorry, my fabric keeps shifting. Good night, Debbie. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so I'm just lining up that middle fold line that I made. I feel like my oh my goodness. Sorry, I am struggling. So I'm lining up my 9-inch or my 6-inch mark with the middle line of where my pocket should be, or like that middle line that I folded the lining. And so that's how I'm lining up to make sure that I'm even. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to fold main lining in half, wrong sides like we did to get a crease on the wrong side of the panel. Mark a horizontal 7.5 inch box. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Fold main lining piece in half, press on the wrong side of the panel, mark a horizontal that is 2.5 inches from the top, and extend past the center crease. Yes, 100 needles make a difference. Okay, So I'm doing this a little bit different. She wants you to do it from the wrong side. I'm going to do mine from the right side. So 2.5 inches. Okay, so actually, I'm going to put this at 1.5 inches because I'm going to mark. So I'm at 1.5. Yeah. So now I'm gonna get my 1-inch ruler here. It's still marked at the 6. So now I'm at 2.5 inches like it's supposed to be. And now I'm going to mark my, if I can find it, I'm gonna mark a 7.5 inch or 7-inch box. Yeah, I'm gonna mark a 7-inch box, so that's 3.5 inches from one side and then 3.5 inches from to the other side. So 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. And now I'm gonna go 1/2 inch down, I believe. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go 1/2 inch down and make a second line that's the same, 3.5 inches to 3.5 inches. There we go. And now I'm gonna get some clips here. Oops. Make sure that this is centered. Moved a little bit. I want this to be 1.5 inches from the top. So it's shifted a little bit. Perfect. And I'm just going to clip this right here because I'm going to stitch my lining down. So I'm going to make my box, just following that line. Back stitching. Making sure I change my stitch length, because I didn't, to a 3. Now I'm going to make a second line parallel to that line that I just sewed. I'm going to follow this line here to create my zipper box. Now I'm just going to snip and cut all the way down. About when I get to a 1/2 inch from that line, I'm going to V out. Do the same exact thing to my other side. When I get a 1/2 inch, I'm just going to V out again. Now I can flip my zipper pocket in. Just going to use my fingers. I'm going to use my fingers to press this down. There we go. So now I have my zipper. And now I'm just going to grab some zipper tape. Cut new zipper tape because I didn't realize that I have this like long piece because it's a brand new zipper tape. So, I'm getting my lighter and I'm just searing the edges so that I know it won't fray when I'm working with it, because I need to put my zipper pull on. Just getting a regular zipper pull. Yes, Cheryl, I love zipper tape too. So I don't have like a jig or anything, so I just put it on by hand. So what I do is I hold this side, I put it halfway in, so it's like even, and then I'll push it down, making sure it's even. If it doesn't push down evenly, I just re-pull it out. So I'm just gonna put it in evenly. Here we go, pushing it. There we go. There we go. So then it goes on nice and evenly. So now I'm just going to place my zipper on, and I'm going to sew it on. So I'm just going to pull my zipper, not super close to the end, but semi-close, and then I'm going to I'm basing this at 1/8 of an inch, and I'm gonna push it down a little more. So I'm putting my zipper towards the end here. If you can see, the zipper is at the very end, and I'm going to keep it out of the way until it's time for me to pull it through. So I want it like past this so that it's not in my way when I'm sewing down my zipper. So I'm just putting it even. I'm gonna sew at 1/8 of an inch. Just making sure my zipper is nice and even. And now I'm just gonna go 1/8 of an inch from the raw, or where the fold is. Making sure my zipper is nice and straight. I'm going to pivot. Making sure I have no puckering. turning back and going back down. Putting my foot down, and then I'm going to push my zipper through. So that it's out of my way. Whoop. Once you get the hang of the zippers, like there's different ways to place a zipper. Some put zipper facing, which zipper facings can be easy. I like zipper facings, but I find the easiest one is this one, but it really, like, if you have the way that you like doing a zipper pocket, you can do that way on any bag, because most bags are 7 inches, and so if you are comfortable with zipper facings, stick with it. So I'm just back stitching because my thread, my machine unthreaded, so then I'm just connecting this. Okay. Perfect. And so now I have my zipper pocket. Oh, yes. Let me... Oh, actually, I don't know if... Oh, yeah. Cool. I didn't know I could zoom. Is that better? Okay. So, there's my pocket, or my zipper. Now I'm going to just add my... No, so this is a nylon zipper. So it's like plastic, so you can sew over it without damaging your needle. If I had a metal one, I would hand crank it because I have broke needles going over a metal machine or metal zipper. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I didn't know I had a glare. So now we're just going to get our zipper pocket here, and we're just gonna close it up. So pin it, oops, or clip it in place. I believe we're leaving the bottom open, yes. So we're leaving the bottom open because that's where we're gonna turn the, turn our bag through. So we're gonna do a U shape. Sorry, we're gonna do a U-shape stitching. So we're gonna start from the bottom here and go all the way around and leave this open. I like to turn my lining up about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. And I will show you why I do this once I stitch this up. I do this because when we go to turn it, it will fold up and it'll be easier to fold stitch close at the end. So let's see. She wants you to close up the stitch length, making sure, don't do like what I was about to do. You want to make sure that your vinyl, your lining piece is out of the way when you're stitching this. So I'm going to turn this. I'm actually going to do it the other way because it's easier to move my lining out of the way this way. Okay, so let's see. She said to turn it. Let's see. Done with that, done with that, done with that. Okay, close up the pocket with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm turning up my zipper pocket, the bottom of my zipper pocket. I'm folding it up a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to start my stitching. And I will show you why I do this when I'm done closing this up. Closing at a 1/2 inch, or it's close to half an inch seam allowance. Good night, Cheryl. Okay, so this is why I turn my bottom piece up. So look, when I go, I'm going to trim down my seam allowance, but when I go to turn this, it's going to fold these edges up, kind of like this. So then when I pull my bag through, it's already folded, and it makes for a nice clean finish whenever I go to zip my pocket, when I go to close my pocket up. And I'll also show you that once I get to the, when I get to that. So now we're going to trim down the seam allowance to a 1/4 of an inch. So just trimming this to a 1/4 of an inch, getting rid of that bulk. And I had my stitch length at a 3. So when I fold this up, perfect. See? Now I'm going to open my zipper so I don't forget, and I'm going to set that aside. Good night, Nora. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's see where I'm at. I'm pushing it. I might have to start a second live. So now we can do our outside. So grab your outside and grab your bottom panel. Okay, so you're going to get your contrasting bottom, which is your vinyl piece, and you're going to put it on, or you're going to clip it to your exterior piece. Right sides together. And we're going to sew at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. My stitch is at a 3. Back stitching, 1/2 inch. And now you're going to press the seam allowance towards the bottom panel. So you're going to get your seam allowance here and you're going to press it towards this panel here. And you're going to top stitch it. Let's see. Seam allowance, flip, and top stitch. So I'm going to put my stitch length to a 4. And top stitch. So that means I'm just going to do 1/8 of an inch. And I took it slow because I do have that decorative stitching, so I want to make sure that it looks nice together. So see, so that's why I took it a little slow, to make sure that I didn't run into my decorative stitching that I put for my Peltex. So now we're going to repeat that to the other side. Matching the bottom, right sides together, 1/2 inch seam allowance, making sure that I change my stitch length back to a 3. Okay, so now, whoops, throw your snips. So now you're going to do the same thing we did to the other side, pressing our seam allowance down towards our bottom panel. And then we're going to top stitch that at 1/8 of an inch, making sure you change your stitch length to whatever size you want. I like a 4, so that's what I'm going to change it to. I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch, making sure I don't run into my decorative stitching that I already stitched out on my bottom panel. So I'm going to take it slow, being as careful as possible. There we go. Perfect. So there is my bottom panel. So we're going to do the same thing to the lining panels. We're sewing that panel at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So grab your main panels and grab your bottom panel. We're going to do the same exact thing that we did to So I'm going to stitch it together first, and then I'm going to top stitch it. I'm just going to find my 5/8 of an inch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 of an inch. Perfect. Okay. So now that I know where my 5/8 of an inch is, I'm going to So I'm going 5/8 of an inch from my bottom panel. Yes. Well, I did not sew the actual, well, I sewed the handles. Let me see if I can show you. So I sewed the like handles, but not the strap handles yet. I will not do that till I finish the bag completely, and at the very end So now I'm gonna do the same thing to this side, attaching at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, like the pattern says. Just matching my long edges together. What are decorative stitches? On my bottom panel, so this right here and then this like top is a decorative stitch. Well, I mean, that's how I attached my Peltex to my bottom panel. I like that little like box stitching look on the bottom of it. If you don't like the like extra box, you can just adhere the vinyl or the Peltex to your vinyl. No, so the round handles is part of the handles are part of the pattern. This is what you're gonna attach your handles to, your straps. So you'll attach them like this, and this is what will hold yours. So this is like your handle connectors, your strap connectors. So that's what that pretty much is. So it will look like this. You can always change this to like just regular strap connectors if you want to, if you don't want the handlebar ones. Okay. So just remember, I'm getting close to the 4-hour mark, I feel like. Oh, I'm not really that close. But if I do get cut off, I'll start a new live. So now I'm going to attach, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to attach my, I'm going to top stitch my bottom piece. I'm going to top stitch my bottom panel 1/8 of an inch, just like we did with the exterior side. So now I'm going to do the same exact thing to my other side, making sure I push down my seam to the bottom. And I'm just going to top stitch. Okay. So I have it top stitched. So now we can get to our side panels because we're going to start connecting them. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to start making little snips for where my centers are going to be. So I'm going to snip there on my bottom panel on my lining. Just maybe like 1/8 of an inch. Nothing too big. Gonna do the same thing to my lining side panel. Do the same thing. So I'm folding it in half. And snipping. Now I'm going to grab my exterior piece. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to snip just a little bit. I do already have that existing snip where we lined up the side panel, so we don't have to do that. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. Folding my main piece. Just doing a little snip. Just like 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And now we're going to attach our side panels, or yeah, our side panels, our side pocket panels to our main panel. So we're going to match the 2 short edges first. Fold, 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 zipper placement. There should be 2 small marks on each right along the edge, about 1/2 inch from the center of the V. Okay, I'm gonna put my zipper placement in before I attach my panel piece because I don't have my zipper placement on. That's not it. Where do my side panels go? Here it is. So I'm just going to just put a little mark right where that 1/2 inch or right where that zipper placement should be. I'm only doing like 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm gonna do the same exact thing to my other side. Lining up my panels and just doing a small snip. Do the same thing to the other side. There we go. So now I got little snips about 1/2 inch from my V. Where this V is, about 1/2 inch up. That's my zipper placement. I'm gonna do the same thing to my, let me see. Okay, so I don't have, I just need to do that to my exterior. Perfect. So now I can attach my side panels. Let's see. For getting your seams super straight, clip. just make sure you clip. Like, I would, if you're having trouble, I would, use a lot of clips and go slowly to get a straight seam, a straight stitch. But yes, also, I guess, yeah, you need to use the guide on your sewing machine. So on my sewing machine, I put 2 little dots where 1/8 of an inch would be on my foot. And so that is kind of where I when I top stitch, I make sure that my seam right here is lining up with that. And then I also have I had a marking here for 3/8 of an inch, but I haven't had to use 3/8 of an inch with any patterns. And so I just kind of look at where, so don't look at the needle, look at your foot, because if you look at the needle, it's too late. So yes, I mark little marks on my feet, and it's perfect. You just kind of have to get the feel of your machine. Okay, so I'm going to read through this real quickly. So we're going to pin the top corners of the side panels to the top corners of the exterior body, right sides together, matching the side edges together. Pin the top corner body of the side panel to the other end of the exterior body. Starting at the top, pin down the edge every 1 inch until you reach the bottom pin. Then repeat the pin to the other side, and we're going to sew along the matching edge at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then we're going to do the same exact, and then we're going to do the same exact thing to the other side panel, and then we're going to trim down our seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch. Do they sew it for an industrial machine? I know they do, so they do have that for a regular domestic machine. So I have some raw, or not raw, but some thread here that I'm just going to zap. So now we're going to pin our exterior pieces to the panel. So you're going to match up your snips, grab a lot of pins, and I'm going to put a couple pins here, and then I'm going to match up my raw or my short edges, making sure they're nice and even. There we go. And now I'm just going to pin all the way down, matching up my raw edges. Gonna have to ease this curve in a little bit. Use as many pins as or clips as you need. And you're gonna repeat that to the other side here. Just making my way down, matching up my edges. Then I'm going to if you want to, you can use a stapler. Some people use staplers to hold in the seam together, but I don't. I can never get it right. Okay, so I'm changing my stitch length to a 3, and I'm going to be attaching this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I do have a 1/8 of an inch foot for zippers, but I cannot sew straight with that. My stitching always looks so wonky. So here we go. Starting my stitch at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm just going to make my way, adjusting if I need to, making sure my needle is down before I attempt to adjust. So you don't want to accidentally get off track. Okay, so I'm just going to work my way, adjusting as I need to, moving clips as I get to it, making sure my foot is, or my needle is down before I attempt to adjust. So I'm getting to that curve, and I want to make sure that I fold it down, because I don't want to accidentally pucker any of my fabric. There we go. Just easing my way through it all. It's okay to go slow. Okay, so I'm getting to that corner. I'm gonna hold it while I turn, making sure nothing shifts, making sure that none of my fabric is puckering anywhere. I'm gonna make my way. There we go. And easing it in to that curve. Making sure I stay at that 1/2 inch seam allowance. And now I'm at the straight, so it should be pretty easy to sew right here. It's just that curve that you want to take it fairly slow. Okay. So now if you want, I'm going to check to make sure that I got a nice stitching. So I'm just going to turn it and just inspect it. Oh, this is gorgeous. I'm so excited that this is gonna be my purse. I'm making this purse for me, so I actually get to use it. So there we go. It's going to be a little wonky because we didn't trim that seam allowance, but there's no like real puckering. Once I trim down this seam allowance to an 1/8 of an inch, it will curve out a lot easier, a lot nicer. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing that we did to this side to my other side. So right sides together, I'm going to match my bottom notches. I have my clips. I'm going to clip. I'm going to add a couple clips to each side, and then I'm going to match my edges up at the top here and do the same exact thing to the other side. Then I'm just going to work my way down. I'm going to start here at the bottom and just work up or work down, whatever way you want to. And there we go. I'm going to do the other side now. Starting at the bottom, that's what I like. I don't know why. You can start at the top. Thank you, Rebel. I'm loving this purse. So, whoops. I'm going to continue clipping. Making sure everything is straight. I want this to be nice and neat. I have a little bit of some easing to do, but perfect. Okay. I'm gonna add a couple more clips here because I really want to hold this curve in so that it's nice. It curves nicely when I sew it. Okay, so we're starting here. I have my stitch length at a 3, and I'm going to start at a 1/2 inch seam allowance because that's what we need to sew it as. Just working my way down, adjusting with the needle down. It's important that you adjust with the needle down. You can squish your bag, it can handle it. So here we go. I'm about to get to that curve, so then I really want to take it slow. I don't want to rush it because I want to make sure that it's nice and even with no puckering. Oh no, guess what? My bobbin ran out. Okay. Whew. Good night, Stephanie. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go right where it kind of stopped. I'm gonna go and re-clip. So I'm just gonna re-clip. I'm gonna start just a little ways up from where before my bobbin ran out so that I can lock these stitches in. Okay, perfect. So I'm getting right to the curve. I'm just adjusting. Don't want any puckering. Adjusting as I go. Making sure I take these curves slowly because I want them to be nice and perfect. It is a wrestling match with the bags. I feel like I always have an arm workout afterwards. Okay, so now I'm getting right to the straight. And I got through the worst of it. So now just go and check your work, see how you like it. Making sure that it looks good. I'm gonna trim down my seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch. Got one side done. Now to do the other side. Whew. I need some better scissors that can cut through layers like butter, because this is a hand workout. My hand is cramping. I got this. I'm so close to being done. Whew. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to turn my bag right side out. Yes, that's what I was just doing. It was a workout. So now I'm going to turn this right side out. Now I'm just turning the bag right side out, pushing out these rounded corners. So I feel like I break a nail every time I'm doing a bag. Yes, I'm gonna have to invest in some of those scissors. Okay. Just gonna get my chopsticks so I don't break another nail. I'm just gonna rub the end of it right on this rounded corner so that they are nice and round. Okay. So here is the bag so far. This is such a cute bag. I'm super excited. I feel like if I don't get compliments on this bag, I'm gonna be really sad. And when I say compliments, like when I go out, I want somebody to be like, oh, where'd you get that bag? Okay, just getting my hands a little rest because cutting those, those layers was a workout. Okay. Now we're doing the main zipper. Oh wait, hold on. We're doing the lining. Now we're gonna do the same thing to the lining, so we're gonna set this aside. Grab your lining pieces. We're gonna do the same thing. We're sewing that at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay. Then we are gonna do the zipper, and then after we do the zipper, we add the after we do the zipper, we put the lining on and we add the zipper tab, and we're done. So let's see where we're at. Ooh, 20 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it done in 20 minutes, but let's see. So I'm gonna do the same thing we did to the other side. I'm going to line up my center snips that I made. I'm going to line up my center snips, and then I'm going to line the top up here. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing to my other side, lining my top. And then making my way from the bottom up. Mackenzie, yes. Yes. Suzanne, yes. What Deb said. Waterproof canvas. This one here I got from Walmart. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my other side. Okay. I'm just easing these corners. Or yeah, I'm just easing these into my seam so that they don't bunch up. There we go. Got it. Okay. So now we're gonna sew this at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. My stitch length is at my stitch length is set to a 3. And I'm just going to sew this all the way around. Move my clips as I go. Adjusting, I'm just getting through this corner, this next corner, or this next rounded corner. Still sewing at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, adjusting as I need to. Making sure my needle's down when I adjust so that I don't mess up my stitching. Okay, there we go. Making sure your zipper pocket isn't in the way. It shouldn't be, but just double check. Whoops, and that is why you have your needle down, because I picked it up and pulled it out. Okay, so I'm just adjusting. There we go. Done, and now I can do my other side. And I dropped it. So starting, matching my bottom snips. I might end up having to start a new live because I feel like I'm about to hit my 4-hour mark. Here we go. Clipping, clipping, whoops, clipping. Almost there. Once we get through this, then we're pretty much almost through the hard part. I guess the zipper is kind of a little bit tricky, but if you did the Annette bag, it's kind of the same way. I'm just going to ease this seam here. There we go. Yes, that's the worst, Delvin. I feel like that's the only, because like my cousins, they want me to like make them bags and stuff, but they won't let me send it to them for free. But I feel like the only thing stopping them is shipping, because shipping is crazy. Even though like you are part, like you're a territory, so I don't see why they charge you international. Okay, so I'm just easing this in a little bit so there's no puckering. Here we go. Let's do this. 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Gonna move my zipper lining out, my zipper pocket out of the way just in case. And we are sewing at 5/8 of an inch. My stitch length is still at a 3. Okay, just gonna do this curve. Almost there. Okay, so just needle down and then adjust. 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Almost there. We just got one more curve. Then we can move on to the zipper. I'm so excited for this bag to be done. It's seriously so cute. Okay, so I'm just putting my needle down, adjusting my bag so that it's still at a 1/4 and 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm turning back. Just want to make sure that nothing is puckering. Something puckered. Just don't want any puckering, so I'm adjusting as I go. There we go. Okay. Where are we at? 3:50. 10 minutes. So I probably I'm gonna end up getting kicked off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this, and then I will stop the live and start a new one. That way, y'all can see me do the zipper and we're not interrupted. So I'm gonna cut my seam allowance down now. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna trim this down. Trim my seam allowance, trim my seam allowance. Oops. Okay. Making sure you don't cut your pocket. I did not, but I got pretty close. All right. Whoops. So now I'm just gonna turn my lining out and just check it. See how it came out. And then I'm going to start another live so that we can do the zipper pocket and then put the bag together. I just don't want to be interrupted. So here is my lining. Oh, punched myself in the face. Okay. So, my lining. Let's see where we're at. So we have like 7 minutes. I don't feel like we'll be able to have, I feel like I'll get interrupted if I start the zipper now. So I'm going to end the live and I'm going to start a new one. So come join the new one, okay guys? Everyone. Alrighty, I'll see you in the next live. I'm going to put it up like as soon as this one finishes and it uploads, I'll put the other one. So just like the normal lives. So see you in the part 2.